Imagine I tell you there were people who actually didn't brush their teeth twice a day, or they didn't even access the toothbrush, yet still had better teeth than us. Or people who didn't need braces because their teeth were naturally aligned. But first, we need to turn back time. Our dental problems started when we started to speak, and mainly when we started to farm. Before agriculture, we didn't have any tooth decay, or if we had, it was very rare, and it's one of the coolest things in archaeology. Back then, we were hunter and gatherer. Our diet was consisted of meat, roots, non-sweet and non-sticky fruits. So the pure sugar that we have today wasn't even existed. Our ancestors' food was hard to chew, and which has a self-cleansing effect. Also, the action of chewing produced more saliva, which again can clean the mouth. Back then, they didn't have access to 3 meals and a snack, so bacteria didn't have a chance to reproduce in their mouth. But around 10,000 years ago, everything changed. Humans started growing wheat and rice. Bread became part of our diet, and from that point, archaeologists can see an increase in dental cavities in human skeleton. Even later, between things like Great Famine between 315 to 317, we can still see a drop in dental decay. And that's wild because it happened during one of the hardest times in Europe history. Heavy rain and crop failure meant that people had barely access to food. They used to eat dried bread and thin soup, but they still had less cavities. But why was that? Because it wasn't only them who was starving. The bacteria in their mouth was starving as well because they were malnourished. And in some countries like Japan before modernization, we can see one of the best examples of naturally healthy teeth without accessing to modern dental care. Until 19th century, Japanese people barely had any sugar in their diet. Sugar was a luxury product and only was used in special occasions. Their diet was built around fish, fermented vegetable and brown rice which has fiber. Their diet was a little acidic and salty but not sugary. And they used to drink a lot of green tea which has antibacterial properties and stop the bacteria to grow in our mouth. Sometimes they used thin stick or plants to clean their teeth, but they didn't have access to modern toothbrush and fluoride. Yet they had very low rate of cavities. Dentistry really started to take off in Japan after 20th century when Western food introduced to Japanese people and came to their table. Now, do you think there were people that didn't need braces because their teeth were naturally aligned? Tribes like Maasai in East Africa not only had low decays but had straight teeth as well. Their diet was consisted of cow's blood, meat and milk. Now the point is not to have cow's blood in our diet, but they had zero sugar in their diet. They had to chew a lot and from a young age. Kids grow up constantly having raw food. This constant effort for chewing stimulated their jawbone for full development. And that's why their teeth were naturally aligned. No gaps and no crowding. And obviously everything went downhill when they got familiar with biscuits, sugar, soda, and not only they developed cavities, but they started having crowding and spacing and other alignment problems. With this video, I'm not trying to say that ancient people had perfect teeth or you should stop brushing. What I'm trying to say is that you can brush your teeth once a day, twice a day and floss, but if your diet is full of sugar, soda, soft drinks, still you are always under attack of cavities. Oral health is not only built in bathroom by brushing, it's also built in the kitchen. In some ways, it's similar to having six-pack. So let's eat smarter. If this video gave you a new perspective, share it with someone you care. Thank you for watching.